once you leave the EU. And here again, cheese is a great example. In the European Union, Parmigiano Reggiano is a PDO cheese, meaning it can only be made in a specific region of Italy using traditional methods and ingredients. The cows that produce the milk can only eat grass and hay from pure pastures and cannot receive antibiotics or supplements. The cheese-making process must begin within 18 hours of milking, and the cheese can only include milk, rennet, which is a naturally occurring complex of enzymes used to make cheese, and salt. A standard-size wheel of cheese is produced, one that hasn't changed for hundreds of years, and it must be cared for and aged for at least 1 year before it's sold. Meanwhile, in the United States, all kinds of cheeses are passed off as Parmesan. Whether you're in a restaurant or buying a pre-graded package, it could be Pecorino Romano or Gran Padano. In the worst cases, they may not even be cheese, as a particularly bad scandal revealed. Some of those canisters of cheese contained cellulose, or wood pulp. Seriously. But even if you consider foods that don't directly have a protected geographical or designation, there is still a much greater degree of emphasis and legal protection on the sourcing and quality of foods consumed. The EU has a comprehensive farm-to-fork strategy that aims to create fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems. This strategy includes measures to combat food fraud with a focus on transparency and traceability throughout the food supply chain, including origin disclosure and labeling, requiring information about where food products come from. Every single item in the produce section of my chain grocery store lists where it comes from, and the local or regional products are highlighted. The flour for my cake, I can see which mill it was produced from. And all of these things taken together, the protection of foods that carry geographic and cultural heritage, as well as a food system which mandates transparency and traceability, means that when consumers head to their grocery store, they're not only better informed consumers, but they reinforce a system that benefits local businesses by fostering trust, enhancing product value, and enabling those businesses to meet increasing consumer demand for sustainable and ethical food sources, without increasing the cost. So while Europe protected real food with real laws, the United States protected corporate innovation. At least for now. Every year, it seems like there is an ever-growing awareness of the link between diet and health, including obesity, allergies, and chronic diseases, prompting consumers to scrutinize food ingredients and nutritional value. Consumers are seeking foods with fewer artificial additives and preservatives, leading to the rise of clean label products and grocery stores that cater to whole, healthy foods. But sadly, this trend is one that comes at a cost that many people just simply cannot afford. Processed foods tend to have a lot more calories at a lower price. That's more bang for your buck than fresh food if you're on a budget. One piece of British research in 2023, the Broken Plate Report by the Food Foundation, found that healthy food is usually twice as expensive as less healthy food on a per-calorie basis. However, buying cheaper, less healthy food can prove to be a false economy, leading to health conditions, income losses, increased living costs, and medical expenses. One Harvard study found that unhealthy diets result in $50 billion in additional healthcare costs every year, with copays and rising insurance premiums inflating American household bills. There are some heritage foods which have been legally protected in the United States, but the few examples that do exist are contained to state-level laws. For example, in Tennessee, whiskey is a protected name. In Tennessee, the state law, House Bill 1084, defines Tennessee whiskey and mandates that it must be produced in Tennessee, meet the definition of bourbon, including a grain mixture with at least 51% corn, and undergo the Lincoln County process, a charcoal mellowing. It is also protected under agreements like NAFTA, now the USMCA, and in the EU, recognizing it as a distinctive product of the United States, specifically produced in Tennessee. Vidalia onions are another of these rare examples where an American crop is considered unique enough to deserve protected labeling. The Vidalia Onion Act of 1986 codified into state law that only onions grown in 20 specific counties in Georgia can legally use the name. And while I think that these are a great start, they remain specialties and not standards. The real tragedy, in my opinion, for Americans is that many just don't know what they're missing when they get a low-quality imitation of a truly good food. Now, in most cases, these legal imitations won't harm anyone physically, but they do affect the reputation and livelihood of the people who dedicate their lives to making these foods. Most can't compete with the cheap commercialized imitations, and those that do often have to sell at a price that makes them unattainable for the standard American family diet. And that's relevant for foods like Parmesan cheese and olive oil, but also something as simple as a tomato. Food for thought. But I would love to know what you think. Have you discovered a product that you thought was real, but wasn't? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed what you saw today, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And for more content from Thai Passion, hit that subscribe button. So I'll see you in the next video.